You have $1,240,000. You're standing in the parking lot of a Target, loading bags of groceries into your 2009 Mazda 3. The sun is setting on a typical Tuesday evening. You're 32 years old. You've been a locksmith for 24 years. They call you when they're locked out. You check your watch. 6:47 p.m. You're done with work for the day. You head home. You live in a modest house, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. You've lived there for 10 years. You know the neighbors. They know you. You're just a regular guy. You pull into your driveway. You park your 2009 Mazda 3 next to the lawn. You get out, grab the groceries, and head inside. You put the groceries away. You make yourself a simple dinner. Scrambled eggs, toast, and a glass of water. You eat at the kitchen table. You check your phone. No messages. You check your email. The subject line says Q3 Portfolio Summary. No exclamation mark. You open the email. You scan the report. Your net worth is still $1,240,000. You close the laptop. You go to sleep. You wake up the next morning at 6 a.m. You get dressed in the same clothes you wear every day. A white shirt, blue jeans, and sneakers. You head to the kitchen. You make yourself a cup of black coffee. You drink it while you check the news on your phone. You see the market is up. You see the market is down. You don't react. You're not emotional about money. You've learned to separate your self-worth from your net worth. You realize that $1,240,000 is just a number. It's not who you are. You've always been private about your wealth. You don't flash it. You don't talk about it. You don't want to be seen as different. You want to blend in. You want to be normal. You've learned that when people know you have money, they treat you differently. They want something from you. You want to be left alone. You want to be free. You realize that $1,240,000 is not just a number, it's a tool. It's a means to an end. The end is freedom. The freedom to do what you want, when you want. The freedom to say no. You built your wealth slowly. You started investing when you were 18 years old. You put $100 a month into a Roth IRA. You invested in a total stock market index fund. You didn't try to time the market. You didn't try to pick individual stocks. You just kept investing. You kept compounding. You used the power of time to your advantage. You used tax-advantaged accounts to minimize your taxes. You used dollar cost averaging to reduce your risk. You were boring. You were consistent. You were patient. You remember the first year. You were 18 years old. You were working as a locksmith. You were making $25,000 a year. You were living with your parents. You were saving $100 a month. You were investing $100 a month. You were sacrificing. You were giving up nights out with friends. You were giving up video games. You were giving up TV. You were focused. You were determined. You were unsure if it would work. You were unsure if you would ever reach your goal. You kept investing. You kept working. You kept sacrificing. You started to see progress. You started to see the power of compounding. You started to see the power of time. You were 23 years old. You had $10,000 in your Roth IRA. You had $10,000 in your savings account. You were making $35,000 a year. You were living in your own apartment. You were still driving your 2009 Mazda 3. You were still shopping at Target. You were still eating scrambled eggs for dinner. You were still humble. You were still hungry. You kept investing. You kept working. You kept sacrificing. You started to see significant progress. You started to see the snowball effect. You were 28 years old. You had $50,000 in your Roth IRA. You had $50,000 in your savings account. You were making $50,000 a year. You were living in your own house. You were still driving your 2009 Mazda 3. You were still shopping at Target. You were still eating scrambled eggs for dinner. You were still humble. You were still hungry. You were starting to feel the freedom. You were starting to feel the power. You reached your goal. You reached $1,240,000. You were 32 years old. You were still driving your 2009 Mazda 3. You were still shopping at Target. You were still eating scrambled eggs for dinner. You were still humble. You were still hungry. You were still private. You were still free. You realized that $1,240,000 was not the end goal. It was just a milestone. It was just a stepping stone. You were still growing. You were still learning. You were still investing. You still go to the same grocery store. You still shop at the same Target. You still wear the same clothes. You still drive the same 2009 Mazda 3. You still live in the same house. You still eat the same scrambled eggs for dinner. You're still a locksmith. You're still 32 years old. You're still private. You're still humble. You're still free. You've learned that wealth is not about what you have, it's about what you don't have. You don't have debt. You don't have stress. You don't have anxiety. You have freedom. You have peace of mind. If this story resonated with you, subscribe. I post a new story every single day. If you want to start investing today, the Robinhood link is in the description. It comes with a free stock. And if you want the weekly letter, the Quiet Wealth letter, that link is there too. See you tomorrow. Your daily routine remains unchanged, waking up at 5:30 a.m. to exercise and meditate. You still spend 30 minutes reviewing your investments, scanning for any changes in the market that might affect your portfolio. Your focus is on long-term growth, not short-term gains. You've learned to ignore the noise and stay disciplined. At 7 a.m., you head to the local cafe to grab a cup of coffee and catch up on the news. You sit in the same corner, sipping your coffee and reading the newspaper. The barista knows you by name and has your coffee ready before you even order. You tip her generously, as you always do. After your morning ritual, you head to the locksmith shop. You've worked there for over 10 years, and it's a steady source of income. You take pride in your work, ensuring every lock is installed correctly and every customer is satisfied. Your reputation in the community is impeccable, and people trust you with their security needs. At lunchtime, you head to the park to eat your sandwich and read a book. You're currently reading The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, a book you've read multiple times but still find valuable. You take notes and highlight important passages, always looking to improve your investment knowledge. In the afternoon, you receive a call from a potential client who needs a new lock installed. You schedule an appointment and head to their location. The job is straightforward, and you complete it efficiently. The client is satisfied, and you collect the payment. After the job, you head back to the shop to finish any remaining work. You spend some time organizing your tools and preparing for the next day. At 5 p.m., you close the shop and head home. You spend the evening watching a documentary on economics, taking notes and analyzing the information. You're fascinated by the way markets work and the impact of global events on the economy. Your knowledge is vast, and you're always looking to expand it. At 9 p.m., you start reviewing your budget, ensuring you're on track to meet your financial goals. You've set a target to increase your net worth by 10% annually, and you're currently ahead of schedule. You make adjustments as needed, always looking for ways to optimize your finances. Before bed, you spend 30 minutes journaling, reflecting on your day and planning for the next. You write down your thoughts, goals, and gratitudes. You're thankful for your life, your freedom, and your peace of mind. You go to bed at 10:30 p.m., feeling fulfilled and ready for the next day. The next morning, you wake up to a notification from your bank. You've received a dividend payment from one of your investments. You smile, knowing that your money is working for you. You log into your account and see that your net worth has increased by $5,000. You feel a sense of satisfaction, knowing that your discipline and patience are paying off. You spend the day working on a new project, creating a spreadsheet to track your investments. You want to be able to visualize your portfolio and make informed decisions. You spend hours working on the spreadsheet, ensuring it's accurate and comprehensive. As the day comes to a close, you receive a call from a friend who wants to meet up for dinner. You agree, and you head to the restaurant. You spend the evening talking about your lives, sharing stories and laughter. You're grateful for your friendships and the joy they bring to your life. The next day, you wake up early and head to the gym. You spend an hour working out, pushing yourself to your limits. You feel invigorated and ready to take on the day. You head to the cafe, where you meet a potential business partner. You discuss a potential investment opportunity, and you're intrigued. You spend the next few hours reviewing the proposal, analyzing the numbers and potential risks. You decide to move forward with the investment, and you spend the rest of the day working on the details. You're excited about the potential returns and the opportunity to grow your wealth. You feel confident in your decision, knowing that you've done your due diligence. As the days turn into weeks, you continue to work on your investments, always looking for ways to improve your portfolio. You attend seminars and conferences, learning from experts in the field. You network with other investors, sharing knowledge and experiences. You're approached by a journalist who wants to write a story about your success. You're hesitant at first, but you eventually agree. You spend the day being interviewed, sharing your story and your philosophy on wealth. You're candid and honest, hoping that your story will inspire others. The article is published, and you're surprised by the response. You receive countless messages from people who are inspired by your story. You're humbled by the attention, and you're grateful for the opportunity to make a difference. You continue to live your life with purpose and intention. You're focused on your goals, and you're working tirelessly to achieve them. You're proud of what you've accomplished, and you're excited for what the future holds. You're a private person, but you're willing to share your story in the hopes that it will inspire others to take control of their finances and their lives. You're 33 years old now, and you've been investing for over 15 years. You've learned a great deal, and you've made your share of mistakes. But you've always gotten back up, dusted yourself off, and kept moving forward. You're a testament to the power of discipline and patience. You're not motivated by material possessions or external validation. You're motivated by your desire for freedom and peace of mind. You want to be able to live life on your own terms, without the burden of debt or financial stress. You're willing to work hard to achieve your goals, and you're patient enough to wait for the results. Your life is a reflection of your values and your priorities. You value your relationships, your health, and your freedom. You prioritize your time, focusing on the things that are most important to you. You're not perfect, but you're always striving to be better. You're a role model for those around you, demonstrating the importance of living below your means and investing for the future. You're a reminder that wealth is not just about money, it's about the life you lead and the freedom you enjoy. You're a symbol of hope for those who feel trapped by their financial circumstances, showing them that it's possible to break free and achieve their goals. Your story is one of inspiration and motivation, a reminder that anyone can achieve financial freedom with the right mindset and discipline. You're a living example of the power of patience, persistence, and hard work. You're a testament to the human spirit, showing that anyone can overcome obstacles and achieve their dreams. You're still a locksmith, but you're also an investor, an entrepreneur, and a philanthropist. You're a multifaceted person with many interests and passions. You're a student of life, always learning and growing. You're a master of your own destiny, shaping your life with intention and purpose. Your life is a work of art, a masterpiece in progress. You're the artist, the creator, and the curator. You're constantly refining your craft, improving your skills, and expanding your knowledge. You're a dynamic and evolving person, always adapting to the changing world around you. You're a leader, a trailblazer, and a pioneer. You're forging your own path, creating a new way of living and being. You're a rebel, a nonconformist, and a free thinker. You're not afraid to challenge the status quo, to question authority, and to seek out new knowledge. You're a seeker of truth, a lover of wisdom, and a pursuer of excellence. You're a lifelong learner, always seeking to improve and to grow. You're a guardian of your own mind, a protector of your own time, and a defender of your own freedom. You're a complex and multifaceted person, full of contradictions and paradoxes. You're a mix of strengths and weaknesses, of virtues and vices. You're a human being, flawed and imperfect, but always striving to be better. You're a work in progress, a masterpiece in the making. You're a journey, not a destination. You're a path, not a peak. You're a process, not a product. You're a dynamic and evolving person, always changing, always growing, and always becoming. Your life is a mystery, a puzzle, and a riddle. You're a mystery to yourself, a puzzle you're still trying to solve, and a riddle you're still trying to unravel. You're a complex and intricate person, full of secrets and surprises. You're a private person, but you're not secretive. You're a humble person, but you're not shy. You're a confident person, but you're not arrogant. You're a balanced person, always seeking to find the middle ground, the happy medium, and the sweet spot. You're a student of human nature, always seeking to understand the people around you. You're an observer of life, always watching, always listening, and always learning. You're a participant in the human experience, always engaging, always interacting, and always connecting. Your life is a dance, a song, and a poem. You're the dancer, the singer, and the poet. You're the musician, the artist, and the writer. You're the creator, the performer, and the audience. You're a multifaceted person, full of contradictions and paradoxes. You're a mix of opposites, a blend of contrasts, and a fusion of differences. You're a unique and original person, one of a kind, and a true individual. Your life is a journey, a path, and a road. You're the traveler, the wanderer, and the explorer. You're the navigator, the guide, and the mapmaker. You're the destination, the arrival, and the homecoming. You're a person of depth, of substance, and of character. You're a person of integrity, of honesty, and of authenticity. You're a person of compassion, of empathy, and of kindness. You're a person of courage, of resilience, and of determination. Your life is a gift, a treasure, and a blessing. You're the recipient, the beneficiary, and the steward. You're the caretaker, the guardian, and the protector. You're the user, the enjoyer, and the appreciator. You're a person of gratitude, of appreciation, and of thankfulness. You're a person of humility, of modesty, and of simplicity. You're a person of wonder, of awe, and of curiosity. Your life is a miracle, a mystery, and a magic. You're the magician, the wizard, and the alchemist. You're the transformer, the changer, and the shaper. You're the creator, the maker, and the builder. You're a person of vision, of imagination, and of inspiration. You're a person of passion, of energy, and of enthusiasm. You're a person of purpose, of direction, and of focus. Your life is a dream, a fantasy, and a reality. You're the dreamer, the fantasizer, and the realist. You're the doer, the maker, and the achiever. You're the creator, the builder, and the maker. You're a person of action, of movement, and of progress. You're a person of growth, of development, and of evolution. You're a person of transformation, of change, and of renewal. Your life is a story, a narrative, and a tale. You're the author, the writer, and the storyteller. You're the protagonist, the hero, and the main character. You're the creator, the maker, and the builder. You're a person of wisdom, of knowledge, and of understanding. You're a person of insight, of intuition, and of perception. You're a person of discernment, of judgment, and of decision. Your life is a journey, a path, and a road. You're the traveler, the wanderer, and the explorer. You're the navigator, the guide, and the mapmaker. You're the destination, the arrival, and the homecoming.